It all started with a smile from a stranger, but it wasn't just any smile. It was warm, familiar, like we'd known each other for years. He even said my name. I just froze. I had no idea who he was. I didn't recognize his face, his voice, nothing, but he was so sure he knew me. After that, it started happening everywhere. The barista at the coffee shop, a colleague I'd never met, random people on the street. They'd all greet me like an old friend. Some would ask how I've been, others would bring up inside jokes about things I had no memory of ever doing. At first, I just went along with it. I'd laugh, nod, and pretend I remembered. It seemed so much easier than trying to explain the blank space in my mind. The confusion in their eyes was too much to handle. But then it got more intense. One night, I was invited out with a group of people who insisted they were my closest friends. They spent hours reminiscing, talking about wild road trips we'd supposedly taken together, arguments we'd had, secrets we'd shared. They painted a picture of a life, a detailed, vibrant life, that I was meant to have lived. I just sat there, a ghost at my own party, listening to stories about a version of me I didn't know. When I got home that night, a pit of anxiety growing in my stomach, I grabbed my phone. I scrolled back, desperately searching for a clue, for some flicker of recognition. I found thousands of photos, endless text messages, years and years of conversations. And there I was in every single one. Smiling, laughing, surrounded by people, living a full life. I stared at the screen, at the face of this happy, social person, and I felt absolutely nothing. It was like looking at a stranger who just happened to have my face. The disconnect was terrifying. It felt like my own life was a movie I hadn't seen. The next day was even harder. Someone I apparently knew from work saw me and rushed over, pulling me into a tight hug. They told me how much they'd miss me, how glad they were to see me back. I just stood there, completely rigid, my mind racing to place their face, their name, anything. But there was only emptiness. Yet, they remembered everything about me. They talked about my favorite lunch spot, the silly way I organized my desk, a project we'd worked on. They remembered me better than I remembered myself. It was a constant, dizzying performance. I knew I couldn't keep this up. The improvisation was getting exhausting, so I started a new project. I began writing everything down in a notebook. Every name someone mentioned, every place we'd supposedly been, every story they told me about myself. I studied that notebook every night, memorizing the details like an actor learning lines for a play. I was cramming for the role of a lifetime me. I was trying to become the person everyone else remembered. For a while, it worked. I could navigate conversations, ask the right questions, fake the right nostalgic smile. I was getting good at pretending. But one day, the facade cracked. A friend, someone from that notebook, pulled me aside. They looked at me with genuine concern. "What happened to you?" they asked. Their voice soft. They said I'd changed, that I wasn't the same person anymore. I asked what they meant, trying to keep my voice steady. Their expression shifted from concern to confusion, and then to a flicker of fear. "You used to be so present," they said. "Now it's like you're not really here." That question echoed in my head for days. What happened to me? I had no idea. That night, consumed by that question, I was mindlessly clicking through files on my old laptop when I found it. A hidden folder, simply labeled videos. My heart started pounding. They were all recordings of me, made in my own apartment. I clicked on the most recent one. My own face stared back at me from the screen, but my expression was haunted, desperate. I looked directly into the camera, as if I was looking right at myself, right now. And then, I spoke. "If you're watching this," my on-screen self said, "it means it worked." I couldn't breathe. The air left my lungs in a silent gasp. The video continued. I needed them to remember me. Even if I couldn't, my voice on the recording was shaking. I couldn't live with what I'd done. The guilt was too much. I had to make it stop. My past self looked away from the camera for a moment, tears welling in his eyes. Then he looked back, with a chilling resolve. I chose to forget. I slammed the laptop shut. My hands were trembling uncontrollably. It all crashed down on me at once. The smiles from strangers, the shared memories I didn't have. The feeling of being an imposter in my own life. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a bizarre coincidence. It was a planned out my plan. Everyone remembered me, because I had made sure they would. I had engineered my own social footprint, cemented my place in their lives, right before I erased it from my own. I was the architect of my own amnesia. Now, I live in this strange reality, surrounded by the warmth of friends, by a history that feels both intimately mine and completely alien. Every day is an act. Every smile I return is a performance based on the notes in my book. I look at the people who love me, and I feel a profound sense of loss for the person they miss, the person I used to be. And I'm left with one haunting question. I wonder if forgetting was my punishment for whatever it is I did, or if, just maybe, it was my only escape. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button for more.